Okay, so I'm doing another video today. Just trying to cover bases. Not in, per, This isn't pertaining to any particular question that's been asked or anything like that, but just something I feel that needs to be gone over because a lot of amateur shooters that I've met have made some pretty horrific mistakes and uh, you know hurt themselves by not knowing how to handle certain situations. Uh, First, I'm going to do a range setting situation, and for this I'll be using a plastic pistol, as I normally do for these types of videos. Um, the first thing I would like to address is squib loads. Every time you pull the trigger, it doesn't necessarily mean that the round's going to go down range, even if you hear a pop. A squib load is a round that is put into the chamber and does not have enough powder to propel the projectile completely down the barrel. So it stops in the barrel. Anytime you hear a click, anytime your weapon sounds like it is fired differently from what it normally sounds like. First of all, if you're at the range or pretty much anywhere, in any setting, you don't want to point it side to side. You always want to point your weapon downrange. Uh, that being said, if you have any malfunction, um, keep the weapon pointed downrange. If there's a burr on the front of the table, do not lay it down and point it at the burr. Keep it pointed downrange. Keep your fingers clear of any mechanisms. The safest way I've found for most people is just to grip it like that. You don't want to, have your fingers on anything. That way, if the gun goes off suddenly or something like that, or malfunctions and blows all the components out, you don't lose a whole bunch of fingers. And then just inspect the weapon. Don't move the weapon itself. Move your head. Just inspect the weapon. See if you can tell what's wrong. Stay in your shooting lane if you're at the range, or tell people to back off if you're not at the range. But in the case of a squib load, the projectile is in the barrel. Eject the clip. First thing you want to do. Make sure no more rounds get chambered. Make sure that there's not a round already chambered. So you want to open the chamber and make sure that there is not another round behind the squib load. It may have ejected the shell and loaded another round. You do not want to put that round down range because it's going to stop in the barrel behind the first round and blow your gun all to pieces. Squib loads, I don't see it happen often, but it does happen. The second thing is stovepiping or ejection problems. Again, keep your weapon pointed down range and look at it, inspect it. Most of the time you're going to see that the breech hasn't closed properly. Always eject the clip. Make sure that there's not another round coming into the weapon. Once you are sure that the round has made it down range and that the shell is empty, you can set it down, use your multi-tool to get it out of there if you have to. Always keep it pointed down range though. Other than that, I can't really see much going wrong with a handgun other than failure to feed, because the clip is improperly put in, but that's a relatively simple one that's usually not going to hurt you. I can't think of many more malfunctions as far as in the chamber. Your bore. Always make sure it's clear. Always make sure it's clean. Carry the bore snake, like I said in the other video. Use a dental mirror if you can't see in the barrel. Never point the barrel at your face. Make sure your weapon's unloaded when you inspect it. Make sure the safety's on. Every precaution you can take to make sure that that gun doesn't go off. But always inspect your gun for cracks, I've seen cracks down the side of Glocks that the owner didn't even know was there, and they get ready to shoot, and I'm like, hey, you need to go on somewhere with that. You need to buy a new gun, or send it to Glock and make them aware of the problem. I've seen handguns that are cracked, for I don't know what reason. It could happen for various reasons. But all I'm saying is, pay attention to your weapon. Don't just go to the range and assume that your round is going to go down range. That's irresponsible. It endangers yourself as well as others because you're not paying attention. That is plain and simple. Inspect your weapon before you fire it. Make sure that you go down the checklist. Whatever checklist you have. And ask an expert. Ask the guy at the gun range, what should I do before I fire my weapon? If you don't know, don't be afraid of the gun range. If you've never been, don't be afraid of messing up, because then you are. You know, they will coach you at the gun range. You can have somebody come in with you, or just ask a patron. Don't walk up to them in the range and tap them all on the shoulder or anything. But if you see a patron about to go in that looks like he knows what he's doing, he can probably help you, and we'll have no problem with that. Most people don't. But yeah, just always keep your gun pointed down range. If you have a malfunction, don't move the weapon. Move your head. Don't eject, shotgun rounds and things like that. I've seen, if the round is still in the casing, wait a couple minutes. Keep it pointed. You don't want the round to explode outside of the chamber. If that round is in the chamber and the primer's punched and maybe it happens to be kicked out or stovepiped, keep the gun pointed down range with one hand and flag the person in that owns the range, whatever, to come and help you. You do not want that to shake that round up a whole bunch and end up having it go off and splattering everything around you. I've seen shotgun rounds do that at the range, at a range that I've been to it, actually. But the guy shot the round out, it hit the ground, and the powder shook up, and for whatever reason that round went off and peppered everybody there. Thank God it was a small, skeet round, but still. So that's my video on malfunctions and safety during malfunctions.